Hi guys, Mickey here, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. So I'm up the woods today. It's bitterly cold. It's been pretty damp just lately, but I'm going to get a little fire going and I'm going to use just my emergency pack. The idea being practicing my basic skills and getting it back together. And then what we're going to do, we'll have a look and a talk through some other methods for fire lighting. We'll discuss some of the primitive, we'll look at some of the new, and we'll look at some of what are the priorities when it comes to making fire. Enjoy the video, let's get on with it. So, fire, let's have a think about it. So tinder is one of the most important things. Now you come into a woodland like this and there's plenty of stuff on the ground, which is wet. No good to me, especially this time of year. Summer, possibly, winter not so much. But we have trees here like the beech, we have pines in here, we have larches in here. So I should have a plentiful supply of resources when it comes to tinders and small wood to get my fire going. Now the beech tree quite often sheds small branches and drops them. They get hung up lower down, quite often within reach. In actual fact, prime example there in this young one. So you get branches like this. Okay, now that's going to be perfectly wind blown. And again, nice, there's a bit of pine there that's been blown out and caught up. There's another bit there. So these are going to be wind blown, air dried, which is nice for me. There's a nice little bit there, however, that's on the ground, but we'll take it. That might do for a later stage in the fire. Let's come up here, have a look. And what I'm looking for is the dead hanging stuff. Oh, there's another little beech over there. And I can see that that's shed some branches as well. There's an ash here. The ash has got to come down later in the year. That's had it, has turned paper. No use to me. Man the beast. Oh, perfect. Look at this. So we're going to get our fire going. There's another one there. Another one there. Oh, look at this, we're getting quite a good time. And a nice bit of pine there. So cool. Here we go. So this is going to be the basis of my fire. As you can see, it's air dried. It's held off the ground and it is dead. It's been shed, which is absolutely perfect for what I want. So as we can see, there's the fire pit. It's been used by other people, and when they've gone at the end of the day, they've left some resources. It's a couple of wax card paper cups, a bit of tissue there. But more importantly, is these nice bits of charred wood, which are going to become the basis of my fire. Now the ash in there is a bit damp, which is not what you really want, but we can manage. So that's going to become my basis. That's going to be my hearth. I can get plenty of airflow off of that. And you see what I'm doing, I'm laying these pieces of wood out so there's plenty of gaps and plenty of airflow, which is what I want to create my fire. Now the next most important thing that I've gone out and I've gathered is obviously my kindling. So as you saw earlier in the video, I was collecting bits of beech twig, pine twig that are hung up in the branches. So they're nice, they're dry, they're brittle, they snap. More importantly, they're very, very fine. And that gives me the perfect resource for the basis of my fire. Now, obviously the priority with the fire is to create heat. So the reason we create fire is to create heat. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a bed of twigs down in the base. Now these will form a rack almost to sit my tinder materials upon, or my should we say young fire, and it will encourage or keep the airflow. One of the things that will kill a fire very quickly is lack of oxygen, and especially when it's young. So get it up away from that damp ash, make a nice little bed, and again, you could line these up however you want. The reality is, fire likes chaos. So as long as you've got plenty of airflow in there, don't panic too much. So next I'm going to build up my kindling to go over my flame, and for this I'm using the dried beech, and as you can see from that, hopefully, these are very, very long, very slender twigs, very dry. Makes a brilliant fire lighter and fire starter. Well, that north wind's starting to blow again, right on my ear roll. It's a bright sunny day today, but there is an absolutely bitter north wind. There was a threat of snow yesterday, that's gone. So again, build up my resources beforehand, before I even open the pack, got the fire lighting gear out. It's build up the resources, and build up the resources so that you can get basically up to a fire, i.e. what we call a small stick fire. So you're looking at wanting to be able to get stuff like that ignited before you start running around chopping logs and putting your larger materials on. So it's all about preparation. That is key. That's the most important thing. And again, you cannot have too much resources. And quite often, if I was building a survival fire, I'd also collect these twigs, way more than what I needed, and I would be drying them. I'd put them in a secure place where they could dry, sit, and become a resource for either rekindling a fire that's dying down, i.e. you've walked off to do something, come back and you've lost your fire, or you're losing your fire. Having that kindling there means you can restart it, or worst case scenario, conditions change, become worse, rain, snow, wind, whatever, you've already got your resources piled up in a safe, dry environment, ready to go for next time. Our ancestors perfected wood stores, log stores, for a very, very good reason. And again, you can apply that same knowledge, methodology, to being out in the wilds. Okay, it's a survival situation. Get that fire going, and then gather everything you need to keep that fire going for days and days, and it becomes a chore, a daily chore. Collect wood, prep wood, but don't forget, collect tinder. You know, if you suddenly find yourself waking up in the morning, bitter cold, the fire's gone out, having to get out of your nice little warm shelter, like a little warm squirrel that you are, run around, forage, find the tinder, that's a real chore. Right. Let's go to my pack. That's my little survival pack, and as you see, straw on the outside, cigarette lighter. That would be my go-to, obviously, because it makes more sense. However, I'm out practicing skills, so let's take my 2 packs out. I want the black pack, and let's see what we got in here for fire lighting. So there we go. So I've got a little bit of fat wood, flint and steel, couple of fuel tabs. Okay, now brilliant bits of kit for helping you with the fire. Emergency pack, which I don't want to open. That is a last ditch go-to. That is, I've got some pads in there, plectrums, bits of fat wood, that windproof matches. That's a last ditch go-to. That is, do you know what, everything else has failed, I'm going to that. But I don't want to use that unless I really have to. Same with the fuel tabs. Okay, so they come out. So what's that leave me with? That leaves me with a bit of natural fibre, flint and steel, and a bit of fat wood. So using these, we're going to get that going. So one of the methods that we can use is to produce a feather stick. So I know my hands are cold. Not the best feather stick in the world. The feathers are a little bit large, but that'll do the job. I'll take that off. Now, if you're a really good carver and you practice hard enough, you can make some really quite big ornate feather sticks. But all I want some curls. See, that way I create feather sticks, but do I need to? No. No. I don't need to make feather sticks because I have enough resources in that piece of fat wood and that piece of cordage. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this cordage off about 2 inches long, 2 or 3 inches long, and I'm going to pull it out and fluff it up. And that means I'm plaiting it, pulling it out into its basic fibres, giving it a really good fluff. Pull out all the individual fibres on the tips. Put that there. Now I'm going to take my barrow rod, and it's as easy as that. I apply it. I'll put my little bit of rope in there. Take some of these very fine birch twigs without battering it. Place those gently over the top. Plenty of airflow, which is my priority. I want air. Just let that build. no feather sticks, no accelerants, just a little bit of natural fibre, a spark, and some air dried beech. That's all that was. Small pieces, start light. Now you're still in the nursing stage here, so don't add until your flames are coming over the top of the materials at this point. Otherwise what you'll do, that smoke will starve the oxygen out. It's the middle of winter, it's cold, it's damp. You starve the oxygen out, there's not enough heat there to fight through. Get the flames come above a little bit more, and it's a steady process. Again, we've not won yet. We're winning, but we haven't won. It's coming through. It's covering some slightly larger, well spread out materials on the top of that. Again, remember what I said before, fire lights chaos. There we go. No feather sticks, no accelerants, like we say. That's just a little bit of natural fibre rope, a spark from a ferrocerium rod, and away we went. See how the wind's acting in my favour. That northerly wind is adding oxygen to that fire for me quite nicely. Yeah. The curls I didn't use. Just taking a little walk down through the woods, just see if there's anything interesting coming through. It's a bit cold. This hillside faces the north, so it tends to suffer a little bit with the temperature. But I'm going to have a look down at the bottom here where it's quite dense, it's a little bit more sheltered, and see if we've got any early growth. Quite often get a few interesting fungi through here, and we also get my favourite, which is the Scarlet Elf Cup, which are absolutely delicious. If you're interested in foraging, have a look, make sure you identify them. Although the Scarlet Elf Cup is fairly safe because there's there's only one fungi that looks remotely like it, and that is also edible. But I do like my Elf Cups. The moss is doing alright, nothing there. Lords and ladies. Lords and ladies, I thought for a minute I was lucky and had some garlic, but let's get down here. Okay, so lords and ladies, you can tell, look at the lobes there, toxic plant. Look here, okay. This is also lords and ladies, and this is how the mistake is made. You can see how the leaf looks exactly like wild garlic. The same here. You know, it's an easy mistake to make. That is not wild garlic, it's lords and ladies. It's toxic, very poisonous. And that's lords and ladies once it's got to a nice size and it's starting to present, so you can really see what it is. So again, easy mistake to make. An easy mistake to make that you would regret severely. Don't just identify the plant by its leaf shape and that, know the plant. And again, as somebody pointed out on a video the other day, don't just go by the smell. If you've been handling wild garlic and then you crush that small leaf and smell your fingers, it's going to smell of wild garlic, and then you'll poison yourself. So again, make sure 100% on your identification.
Right guys, hopefully you've enjoyed that. Now originally I made quite a long video. It was nearly an hour in length, and I decided you'd probably be a bit too much for most people. So what I've decided to do is shorten it down into 2 videos. So you've got this first video, which is fire lighting process, creating a fire up the woods today. And then a second video where I'm going to go through, I think it's about 4 or 5 different techniques from ancient to modern for creating your fire, just as thought processes. Now, I've not covered bow drill in my videos, and I'm not going to. Primary reason being, I don't like it. It's a lot of effort. But I will say this to you, it is a technique that everybody should go out, master and learn. Okay, I've spent a long time learning to do bow drill fire. It's given me a great deal of confidence. It's a fantastic technique, and it's a contact to your ancestors. People use this method over thousands of years, so it is a great one to learn. And I often say to people, you've not cracked your outdoor skills until you can do bow drill fire. Now, some guys have done videos on it recently. Find your friends with Island Jason, Sticks Outdoors, Jess Outdoors, and Life's a Hobby. They've all done videos on bow drill. So I'm going to leave it. If you're interested in bow drill, dive over to their channels and have a look. Okay? Guys, love those you do. Forgive those you don't. May peace and light be upon you all. Till next time, this is Mickey, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Mickey out!